Disturbing Things I Found on the Internet, Volume 3 by Lazy Masquerade. What's good? How your day going? Morning, evening, night, whenever you're watching this video. I'm not about to do a long intro. I'm not about to talk your ears off. We're about to go ahead and jump right to this video and see what the hell is going on the internet, man. Yo, it's crazy because I remember when, like, at least it felt like when Rotten.com used to be like the top tier gruesome ish you could ever, most gruesome ish you could ever find on the internet. But yo, times progress, times change. Yo, we're about to go and jump to the video. If you want to check out the original video, link will be in the description below. But let's go. Best things happen in the dark.
Today's video is sponsored by Stamps.com. Well, it's 2023, and if, like me, your resolution is to grow your business, then this New Year no-brainer is to check out Stamps.com, the online post office dedicated to saving you the three biggies: time, stress, and money. Let's start with time. Stamps.com allows you to print your own postage and shipping labels in seconds from wherever you do business, meaning you can run your company from your computer, day or night, and cut out all the lines, traffic and waiting at the post office. Sign up for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial, free postage, and a free digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Again, that's stamps.com/lazymasquerade, or click the link in the description.
The Coke and Store live streams.
TikTok, where attention spans go to shrivel. Speaking of shriveling, today's first entry revolves around a TikTok account with this username. Now I can think of a couple of colourful ways to pronounce that,
Coke and
but
Store.
to stay in YouTube's good books, I'm just gonna call it Coke and Store. At time of recording, Coke and Store's account has 3,500 followers. All their videos are in Indonesian, and all seem to promote gimmicky products. Portable washing machines, monkey tissue dispensers, things of that nature, all with accompanying hashtags and light-hearted background music to help shell each item. Just an ordinary small business account, really. But if it's all so innocent, why am I even talking about it? Well, over the past few weeks, Coke and Store has live-streamed some concerning material, seemingly at random intervals. If you happen to catch any of the streams, you'd have seen something like this.
What the hell? Gotta add, I hope that shit fake. I ain't gonna lie to you. I wouldn't even be mad. Let me let the ass back. I wouldn't even be mad if that's one of those ones where come back was like, yeah, this person was a hoax. They were trying to get some clout. Even though at that point it's like it's BS because you'd be pissed off because people do be playing with shit like that. But yeah, I'd rather that didn't actually be real. I ain't gonna lie to you, dog. Man, someone said it's CGI in the comments. They're being recorded and don't even know, probably.
Thus far, they've all featured what appears to be a man in a dark, confined space, covered in what looks like mud or a mud-like substance. In each of the videos, this man either lies curled up in the fetal position, or actively scoops up the brown sludge and pours it over himself, as if making sure he's completely covered in it. What really makes these streams unsettling is that the man seems to be an unwilling participant in the streams. His expression suggests that he's either uncomfortable or scared, and he appears to be extremely cold, often clutching his body tightly and breathing heavily. Some viewers have even claimed that they've tuned into the live streams and heard voices off screen angrily yelling at the man, ordering him to keep covering himself in the wet sludge, though I personally haven't come across any recordings with other people's voices in them. All these streams ended abruptly and without explanation, leaving the thousands of viewers who had tuned in to question what they had just seen. Strangely, Coke and Store have gone on uploading their gadget videos to their account as normal, and as it stands, haven't addressed any of the live streams.
Dang.
Honestly, these streams give off strong Blank Room Soup vibes, as if the man in the video is being forced to take part in a bizarre ritual against his will. But where Blank Room Soup was in all likelihood an art project that went viral, the truth behind the Coke and Store live streams is, as of right now, more mysterious and uncertain. I mean, what even are these live streams? Why are they being streamed on a gadget account of all places? Was the person in these live streams the man behind the Coke and Store account? Or was Coke and Store the person behind the camera, keeping this man locked up somewhere? Now, I can't find an exact date for when these streams first started, but the first mention of them I can find online came from Reddit user Ghoul Goddess in a post on the r/Internet Mystery subreddit on December 9th, 2022. This post really got the small community over there talking, and where some brushed the streams off, others were genuinely worried about the man's well-being. Specifically, many users were concerned that the man wasn't covered in mud at all, and that the confined space he was trapped in was actually a septic tank, with that brown sludge actually being human waste. One of the main theories circulating at the moment is that these are actually fetish videos, and that whoever's running the Coke and Store TikTok account is really into that kind of thing, and wants to share his or her love of it with their followers. Thankfully, that's almost 100% not the case. Scare Theatre has already done a good job at debunking that rumour already. Being a braver man than I, he took a look at some real septic tank videos online, and concluded that this liquid is almost certainly mud. Even so, these are still extremely strange live streams for a small business account to be posting on their social media. But then again, I suppose other companies have pulled similar stunts in the past. Mexico's Canal 5 comes to mind. As mentioned in my Selene Delgado video, Canal 5 are the TV station that used to post disturbing and out-of-context videos to their Twitter page in the early hours to help drive engagement. In a similar vein, could Coke and Store simply be making these live streams as part of a viral marketing strategy, a way for them to drum up interest in their TikTok account? Well, as many people have already noted, these so-called live streams don't appear to have actually been recorded live at all. Given the angle distortions and audio quality, it's much more likely that whoever's running the Coke and Store account simply played these videos on their computer, aimed their phone at their monitor, and live streamed them that way. If that is the case, and personally I do think it is, then in all likelihood, Coke and Store doesn't actually have anything to do with the creation of these bizarre videos, and was simply using them to draw people to their account and get more followers. More followers means that Coke and Store can sell more gadgets,
It's crazy
or
how
charge
that
more
can
for
get you
product
more
promotions,
followers.
or eventually sell their account for a higher price. Given that they've had a huge follower increase recently, with the majority of comments on their videos asking about their creepy live streams, I'd say that that part of the mystery has been solved.
Somebody said, not you
But
muting
even
me.
if they were used as part of a
People want questions, boy. I ain't gonna lie, do too. I want to know what's going on. I really hope that shit is fake, man. The live right now. What your live? The live. What the heck? What's going on in your live? Your live. Let me see. Oh, they were saying that on their video. I thought they were saying that on their live right now. I don't know, but yeah, people want answers.
Given that they've had a huge follower increase recently, with the majority of comments on their videos asking about their creepy live streams, I'd say that that part of the mystery has been solved. But even if they were used as part of a social media hoax, that doesn't mean that the videos themselves aren't authentic. Coke and Store may not have been recording them live, but they had to have gotten them from somewhere. Question is, where?
Ooh, shit. Fuck.
Question is, where? As stated, the owner of the Coke and Store account still hasn't addressed the streams. Well, other than by liking comments referring to them. Nor have any internet sleuths been able to track down where these mysterious videos originated from. But maybe we don't have to find the original videos to close this case. There's been a recent trend amongst Indonesian influencers called Mandi Lumpur, which translates into mud bath. It's a trend in which streamers cover themselves in mud and ask for donations. Indeed, covering oneself in mud in Indonesia does seem to hold some significant meaning, and there are festivals where people will come together to do so and symbolically wash off their negative traits. It's possible Coke and Store.
But I don't know, dog, because in the video they did say they heard another voice telling daughter, like, cover yourself in more mud and everything, right? And also that person definitely looked like they were definitely in distress. It did not look willingly at all. The breathing, the shivering, everything. I was like, yeah, I don't know, dog. Ooh, let me go back a bit.
For donations.
I mean, unless that person was forcing that person to do it for the views so they can get paid. I don't know, shit.
Indeed, covering oneself in mud in Indonesia does seem to hold some significant meaning, and there are festivals where people will come together to do so and symbolically wash off their negative traits. It's possible Coke and Store took one of those videos from an obscure part of the internet, and, knowing that most people wouldn't know what they're looking at, made them out to be something much creepier than they actually are. But the man in Coke and Store's videos doesn't look like he's partaking in a fun ritual. He looks scared. Thing is, if you watch enough of these Mandi Lumpur videos, you'll occasionally find old streams where influencers spent 24 hours or more in a mud hole. Near the end mark of those videos, their behaviour is extremely similar to that of the man in Coke and Store's streams. They shiver, curl up in the fetal position, breathe heavily, and look miserable. The man in Coke and Store's streams may not look like he's taking part in a fun ritual, but neither do many of these mud bathers either.
Which is true.
Right now, we can't say with 100% certainty what's going on in these clips, not until we find the original videos at least. But it seems likely there's an innocent explanation behind them after all. Humans are drawn to the ambiguous. Creepy and unexplained videos like
Why
this
people keep typing in
capture our attention.
Ohio? Is this shit? Is this actually going on in Ohio? Did I miss that part? Or is it something about Ohio I don't know about?
Drawn to the ambiguous. Creepy and unexplained videos like this capture our attention.
No.
Leave us
He
so-
said Indonesia, right? Let me see. I hear when I edit.
Creepy and unexplained videos like this capture our attention and leave us searching for and sharing novel answers. Though usually, the truth ends up being more mundane than we initially expect.
Somebody said you need help
And
to say that
for
shit.
this man's sake, I hope that is the case with this mystery too.
Teddy Bjorn, man.
Next up, a piece of lost media that may help solve a 30-year-old cold case. While scouring the internet for unsolved mysteries to cover, I came upon a write-up of a Norwegian case by redditor Arctisig5, namely that of the Teddybjorn Mannen, or in English, the Teddy Bear Man. On September 12, 1992, a group of hunters came upon the remains of an unidentified person in the cold and remote heights of Hardangervidda National Park. The park itself is a popular spot for hikers during the warmer months, but the area where the remains were found, a mountainous, thicketed area called Folkenudden, was far from the well-trodden paths that most wise adventurers stuck to, a several-hour hike from the nearest trail in fact. The deceased was between the ages of 22 and 27, and judging from the condition of their bones, they had perished in the thicket at least a year earlier. Curiously, a banknote in their pocket had only gone into circulation in September of 1991, so more than likely, they had ventured into the mountains sometime shortly after that, when the weather had already started to turn abysmal, and when Folkenudden was starting to become inaccessible. a cause of death couldn't be determined, though given that they had been found 1,200 meters above sea level, the authorities believe that they must have wandered off from the hiking trail and then subsequently froze. The clothes found on and around the victims' remains suggested that they weren't an experienced hiker. They also suggested that they had a very slim build. Several other personal effects were found close to the scene as well, including a teddy bear. Detectives named the doe Teddy Bear Man. This name actually proved to be contentious, seeing how forensic experts weren't entirely sure whether the deceased was a male or female. The skull certainly showed all the hallmarks of belonging to a man, but the extremely slender frame and feminine hips suggested that the Teddy Bear Man was actually the Teddy Bear Woman. The investigators' inability to identify the doe frustrated them to no end, and they released this facial reconstruction of the Teddybjorn Mannen in hopes of jogging a few memories. Unfortunately, this sculpt didn't result in any new leads, and to this day, we still don't know who the Teddybjorn Mannen was. It wasn't until 2022 that forensic experts were able to determine that the deceased was male after all, though some people, including the anatomy professor who helped to create this reconstruction, remain unconvinced. Given the confusion, it's possible the deceased may have had Klinefelter syndrome or something similar.
No, we gotta add. Okay, what the hell's going on so far? That shit look nasty.
The confusion. It's possible the deceased may have had Klinefelter syndrome or something similar. The deceased had been carrying some curious items on their person when they perished. This included multiple plastic bags filled with German brand items, including rye bread, baking powder, and small bottles of wine and water. Most of their clothes had also been produced by German brands, including this poncho, which had been made in either Hamburg or Munich. A map of South Norway, which had been purchased in Oslo, was also found close to the body. This wasn't a hiking map like one may expect, but rather a road map, which would have been of no help navigating the park. Given that the thicket around the Teddy Bear Man had been trampled down, detectives believe that they may have used the map as a mat to sit upon. Strangely, no backpack could be found at the scene. Given that the Teddy Bear Man's bones had been gnawed upon by animals, some believe that a large creature may have dragged the pack away, though others think that the lack of a pack confirms that this was a naive tourist who underestimated the park and how treacherous it could be. Now, we move on to the teddy bear, which was clearly old and was well loved, having been repaired multiple times. Clearly, this 35cm bear was a personal treasure. Now, question is, why had an adult brought a teddy bear along for a hike in the mountains?
Belong to someone.
It may suggest that the Teddybjorn Mannen planned to end their life in the national park, and had brought some wine and their favourite toy to comfort them and make the process.
Because I was wondering that, like, what if they did go there to do a, I don't want to say it for YouTube, and I was like, maybe it's because this bear belonged to one of my youngest and something happened. I don't know, that's what I was thinking. But damn.
National park, and had brought some wine and their favourite toy to comfort them and make the process easier. At least that way, they wouldn't be alone at the end. Ultimately though, without knowing who the Teddybjorn Mannen was, we can't say for sure. But that's where you guys come in. Do you speak German? If so, you may be able to help solve this mystery by helping track down a piece of lost media. An old episode of a German TV show to be precise. In 2022, the Teddy Bear Man's case was discussed on a popular Norwegian show called Asted Norge. Forgive my pronunciations. After that episode aired, a German national came forward, saying that the story rang a bell. They believed that in 1998, a German talk show called Flieg broadcast an episode in which a female guest talked about her son, who had gone missing while on holiday in Norway. This guest was appealing for information on her son's whereabouts, as she hadn't heard from him since 1991. Other callers and internet users agreed that the story sounded eerily familiar, and also recalled hearing about it on a German talk show in the 90s. This was the strongest lead detectives had had in years. If they could only get their hands on that episode of Fleeg, they'd be able to question the female guest and uncover whether or not she was the teddy bear man's mother. Then they'd finally be able to give him back his real name and give his family closure. Trouble is, despite German authorities releasing this tip to the public, that episode of Fleeg has never been found. The show's host doesn't recall ever covering that case either, and the TV network haven't found any records of the broadcast, though it is possible that the episode was deleted from their archive. It's also possible, even probable, that the tipster simply mixed up two different programs. Perhaps the case wasn't covered on Fleeg at all, but by a different talk show altogether. The female guest, who many believe to be the teddy bear man's mother, also hasn't come forward, though given the time frame, she may well have passed away before this development was announced. Regardless, this recent tip lines up with the authorities' former conclusion, that the Teddybjørn Mannen was a German national on holiday in Norway, and that all they need to do is link him to a missing persons report in Germany. So, do you speak German?
Damn.
And do you have a taste for old German talk shows? If the answer to those questions is yes, and you find yourself watching some online in the wee hours, keep the story of the teddy bear man in the back of your mind. You may just find this lost talk show episode, and, in doing so, stumble upon the answer to a 30-year-old mystery. The real name of the teddy bear man.
Google Maps and Street View.
It's no secret that some weird and wonderful discoveries have been made on Google Street View and Google Maps by curious internet users. From weird glitches to planned poses, there's a veritable treasure trove of bizarre happenings in every corner of these digital road maps. The full cast of your favourite horror movies standing in the road. A warped image of a tourist, making her look like a possessed goat woman.
The hell?
A group of unmoving pigeon
I saw that
people
one.
staring at the Google crew as they pass by. Okay, maybe that one is a bit creepy. But then again, aside from all of the obviously staged incidents, Google have unintentionally captured some truly haunting things during their trips around the world.
Oh shit.
Many of them are well known at this point, but there still are a few that haven't been covered to death, and I'm going to go over a small handful of them here. Take for example, this image, which helped us solve a 22-year-old cold case.
I know about this one. Oh, look at that real quick.
Which helped us solve a 22-year-old cold case. The picture, found on Google Maps back in August 2019, shows a submerged car at the bottom of a pond in Wellington, Florida. The sunken vehicle, which a local resident found by pure chance after a Google search, was brought to the attention of the local authorities. The car was subsequently retrieved from the water. Inside, detectives found the remains of William Molt, a man who was reported missing from Lantana on November 7th, 1997, after he had failed to return home from a night out. William had called his girlfriend at 9:30 p.m. that night to tell her he was on his way home, but obviously he never made it back. The 40-year-old had been missing for the past 2 decades, and for all that time, his loved ones were left to wonder what became of him. It's presumed that he simply lost control of his vehicle the night he went missing and accidentally drove into the pond. As stated on his Charlie Project page, quote, William Molt's vehicle had plainly been visible on a Google Earth satellite photo of the area since 2007, but apparently no one had noticed it until 2019. Moving on, take a look at this image, which shows a woman in a dress and heeled boots, walking along the roadside with a suitcase.
Nowhere.
Thing is, this image was captured in the New Mexico desert, literally in the middle of nowhere. The closest town, Russell.
Oh, real quick, dog, because I road trip a lot, man. I love this shit, but that'd be one of the things that really tripped me out. The whole stopping in a whole hick town at night, you don't belong here, boy situation. That one don't really get me that much. That don't scare me that much. It get me a little bit, but not like that. The thing that get me the most is when I get to these situations, these spots where it's like, yo, you are in the in the middle of no effing where. What people, I think, bumfuck Egypt. I don't. Can you still say that, or is that shit like a trigger word? No, don't know. But either way it go though, I'm like, man, what if my car just break right here, dog? Boy, I would cry. I ain't gonna lie to you, I cry, dog. All that alpha male shit I watched on YouTube out the window, I would cry, dog. All that shit gone, bruh. I'ma cry, dog. Oh, that shit
Literally
is
in the middle of
trippy as
nowhere.
hell for real, man.
The closest town, Roswell, is a 9.5-hour walk behind her, and there's absolutely nothing in any other direction for miles. Presumably she was dropped off in a car, but why was she left in the middle of the desert in the first place, with a suitcase, and where was she walking to? Finally, there's this image. At first glance, it looks pretty innocuous, but believe it or not, it actually helped to solve a missing persons case. On November 2nd, 2020, an 83-year-old woman with Alzheimer's disappeared from her home in Andenne, Belgium. Given the woman's fragile condition, her family and friends were extremely concerned about her well-being. A large-scale search and rescue effort was launched almost immediately, which involved 50 officers, sniffer dogs, and a helicopter equipped with thermal imagers. And yet, despite all of that, the woman was never found. That is, until 2 years later, when one of the investigators decided, on a hunch, to check out her house on Google Street View. As it would turn out, the Google car just so happened to drive past her house, not only on the day she went missing, but at the precise moment she had wandered out from her home. This disturbing final image of the woman showed her walking in the direction of her neighbor's house. With that new lead, a second search for the woman was launched, in which investigators followed her assumed footprints. And wouldn't you know it, her body was discovered in a heavily forested area near her neighbor's garden. An area which had been overgrown during the initial search. So overgrown that even the sniffer dogs couldn't reach it.
Damn.
She had likely died after having a fall. With that backstory, this image becomes extremely eerie to look at, and it's crazy to think that the Google team just so happened to drive by and capture it at that exact moment. If they hadn't, it's entirely possible that this case would remain unsolved to this day, and the woman's family wouldn't have the closure they now do. Makes you wonder whether any more active mysteries could be solved with the help of Google Street View, if only the right person were to look in the right place.
Whew, that Google one was trippy, man. Doggy Bone, I ain't even gonna lie to you, man. The Google View ones definitely got me. Definitely hit me, man. Once I saw old girl walking in the middle of no effing where. I told y'all, look, I used to live in freaking Arizona and Texas, whatever. So I used to make that drive a lot. And I ain't gonna lie, a few of the times I did it and was in some janky cars. Luckily, nothing ever happened. But I always think about those times when I did it in those cars. Like, man, what if some ish would have happened? And boom, stranded right there, because man, you legit have no service, man. And the issue's creepy because legit you will see like one car maybe like every 5 minutes, if that, man. Yeah, that was some trippy ish, man. I definitely hope she made it to safety, made it somewhere safe, man. 'Cause you can legit sometime, a good amount of the times, yo, you can legit see like the snakes on the side of the road, everything. Sometimes you'll see them like just moving, sometimes you'll see them dead. Like, oh gosh, this is a desert. This shit will eat you alive, man. And then the woman been, oh man, the granny been found, whatever. That was definitely effed up. Definitely glad they got that closure, though. And I was like, damn, that timing was just perfect with the Google truck just coming by, whatever. But yo, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here and enjoy my day. Y'all go ahead and do the same thing. Enjoy your day, morning, evening, night, whenever you're watching this video. But I'm out.